All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Please put in the chat if you have any questions. And I know Tracy and our team will be monitoring that. And I did add the personality test to the chat. So please make sure you take it. We're going to be covering what those results mean for you. And then, you know, everyone's a little different, but it can help guide you a little bit in where you invest and how you invest. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's 12:04, so we're a little early. But I'm so excited that you were able to hop on for this, and we have a good group. Give us a shout out as to where you're coming from if you would like in the chat again, and we'll take questions there as well as the Q&A. So let us know if you have any questions along the way. The content's planned for 30 minutes max during these lunch and learns with plenty of time for Q&A afterwards. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Lindsay Benton. I am the owner of Live.Laugh Denver Real Estate Group. We're a boutique brokerage in Denver. So we're in City Park, just north of the golf course. And we are a team of 25. And I would like to say that we are small but mighty, woman owned and woman run. And we do have some men on our team as well. But a lot of our passion is around educating women in building wealth through real estate. And Amy, who's co-hosting here and my co-panelist here, is the founder of Women Investing in Real Estate, The Wire, which was started here in Denver, but we're excited to be able to offer these kinds of lunch and learn classes for people nationwide as well. So we are going to, if you have not taken the quiz yet, please be sure that you do, okay? Because it takes 60 seconds and it'll make more sense, this whole class. So ultimately, once you take the test, you find out what kind of real estate investor you are. This is one of those fun personality, you know, internet web tests. But we have the go-getter, the goal setter, the team player, and then the invest-igator, which I thought was so funny when I wrote that. So I hope you guys like it too. So why women investing in real estate? And I think that this has been, you know, a big discussion Amy and I've talked about since she started The Wire, Women Investing in Real Estate. And then we have Live, Laugh, Invest, and those brands together. What does that mean? There's always been an underrepresentation of women in real estate from the ownership perspective. We actually make up more of the workforce in real estate. However, not as many leadership positions along with a lot of other industries. And then, you know, as far as the ownership of assets, that's always been more skewed towards men. But please understand, you know, our goal is really similar to feminism, is for equality. So equal access for all. So while it's a woman focused, we do, of course, you know, welcome our male counterparts, as well as the Women X community too. So everyone is welcome here, but the goal is to really level the playing field. And a lot of that comes from the mentality of women. We are more nurturing and we're more willing to share. So I always say knowledge is power, and I want to share. I am sharing. Whereas when I started in the corporate world in 2004, I felt like knowledge was power and no one was sharing, right? Because how else do you get to the top? So we're here to help lift each other up. And that's how the Women Investing in Real Estate part came, but obviously everyone is welcome. It's a time for us to not only be a part of the conversation, but also lead the conversation. So we can help ask everyone, you know, help you ask the right questions, right? And I think that that's a big part of this. Again, our mission is to empower all to create financial freedom through investing in real estate by providing customized investment plans based on your lifestyle and your wealth accumulation goals. Well, anyways, we are real women sharing real stories and real success. And we look forward to sharing that with you. If you want to look a little bit at her history, but her story, right, is that we have not had as much time to build and acquire wealth, especially not on our own. And so, you know, if you look at some of these dates, in 1971, we could get on a credit card, but in 1974, we were able to get on a credit card ourselves. It's really hard to get a mortgage if you have no credit, right? I mean, we talk about this with students. It's important that they get a credit card when they're 18, a really well, you know, a balanced one that's well executed, but then also, you know, that they start building up the credit so that they can get a mortgage when they're ready to. And that was something that was very like rock in a hard place. And then the Fair Housing Act removed the ability to discriminate based on sex, which was huge. And so really, we didn't get to start acquiring property until the 70s. And then we didn't get our own business loans until 1988. And so those are really important things to keep in mind. And I tell you that, one, because we had a different starting line, but we also, oh, I didn't even finish this slide. Anyways, I will say we are Wonder Women because now we make up far more of home buyers, single home buyers, than the men do. So we see women going out and buying their own homes on their own before partnering or after partnering or whatever it might be. Far more single women make up our home buyers than single men. And we're starting to see more and more of this female empowerment, as well as all empowerment for the non-male investors. And that's been huge. So at our core values at Live Laugh Denver, as well as Invest, is that integrity is everything. Honesty is always the only policy when it comes to me and how I run the business. For better or worse, I'll always be very honest. One size doesn't fit all. I think there's a lot of investing education out there that's like, I've got the answer for you. Come to this hotel for 2 days, pay $10,000, and you're going to have the exact formula you need. And I just don't believe that happens. It's the same with when you're buying a home or selling a home or whatever it is. There's not one size that fits all. That's the, beauty of difference, right? And so we're going to always really help you hone in on what your goals are and then build from there. Safe housing for all is super important. So we are all about building wealth through investing in real estate. We are not about being slumlords. We want to make sure that we're providing safe housing, obviously, also abiding by and empowering all fair housing rules and laws that are out there, and making sure that we're accommodating and serving as many people as possible and in a fair and safe way. So with that, I am going to talk about the different personality types. Has everyone, I'm going to stop and look in the chat real quick. Oh, the quiz is up here a little bit. I'm going to repost it in the chat just in case. So if you haven't taken it yet, go ahead and do that. It should take 60 minutes. Of course, you're an enthusiastic team player, Lisa Suazo, and Seema's the investigator. Love it. Oh yeah, tomorrow is National Women's Equality Day. Good point. And yes, Carrie's on the road listening. I know Macy's on the road listening too. All right, determined go-getter. Yep, that makes sense. Team player, good, awesome. Okay, good. So we have a good variety. I think we have everyone covered. I am personally an enthusiastic team player when I take the quiz, but I also wrote the quiz, and I wouldn't have guessed that that's what I would have been. So that's interesting, right? So yeah, okay, cool. So we're gonna go through the determined go-getter. Everyone, everything has its pros and cons, and it's like anything. There's a spectrum here. You're probably a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? But the determined go-getter is that you've got the drive and ambition that makes you make crushing goals look easy. And so people look at you and they think, oh, dang, she's going to go out and get it. And she, nothing's going to stop her. Well, with that, you're an excellent problem solver. You're quick to make decisions. You're super decisive. You can find what you want, make that decision quickly. You have an ability to see the big picture, which is awesome. But at times that's going to make you leave some people behind, right? And then I think the big piece with that, with opportunities, is that you're so strong and you know what you want, that at times you have a little bit of tunnel vision, right? So focusing on collaboration, we talk a lot about working at Live Laugh is a place for us to both collaborate and commiserate. So sometimes you just need a friend to, complain to, right? And so there's the goodness with that, but then also sharing ideas. I mean, bringing together ideas is going to only allow for more opportunities. And, with an abundance mindset, it doesn't feel like there's a ton of properties out there right now, right? Especially if you think about Denver proper. But when it comes to, how we can be investing and how we can be leveraging existing properties as well as building some of our own, there's tons of opportunity out there. So thinking globally and outside of just maybe the area that you live in or the area that you know. Always listen better and be open, like I said, to hearing what others have to say, and try and let go of some of that control, which is not always easy. And, you know, I would say, I honestly thought I would fall into this category more than the enthusiastic team player. But I would say that a big challenge for this group can be that you have your goal and you'll do anything to get there. And that can mean not taking care of yourself, not taking time to reflect. It can mean a lot of different things. So I think everyone, and I'll reiterate this a lot, is, you know, we got to take a whole life approach at this. And my uncle, who's a financial planner, he and I always talk about, like, how do we plan for the future but still enjoy today? And I think that that's something that we toy with a lot. And I think the go-getter struggles with that. So what would a determined go-getters, what would their path look like, right? So they're gonna, if they catch it in time, right, they're gonna crunch the numbers, and they're gonna know that buying something multifamily and living in one of them is going to be the best and most it is the answer, right? You can, you know, put only 3.5% down on that, or 5%, conventional up to $1 million. There's all kinds of cool options you can do when you're buying a multi. And so that may be their first step. And then they're, you know what, I'm going to upgrade into my primary, and that's where I'm going to live for a long time, because I already took this equity and I got to get the house I needed that's going to show everyone just how amazing I am, but also allow me to get a short-term rental. Meanwhile, I am using the equity from these to buy a multi-unit. The go-getter is going to put a lot of their, I don't want to say their worth, but a lot of their accomplishments around how many doors they have, right? How many investment properties they have, how big their real estate portfolio is. There's a numbers driver in there, and that's totally fine. And so you're going to see them potentially getting into a multi-unit quicker, and then, you know, continuing to buy more, or kind of figuring out how much is enough. And that's something we want to help you guys with too. So that's what a go-getter would look like. If there's any questions, Amy, if you can bring them to my attention. Otherwise, I'm going to keep rolling through the different types. The ambitious goal setter. I picture this woman. She is on the beach, right? She is on the beach, and then she's going to actually head up to, you know, head over to Italy, where she has another place, because she can work from anywhere. And she has put this all on her vision board, and it is amazing. And when it comes to the details, she'll drop the ball a couple of times before she hires the right people to take care of it for her, right? So the ambitious goal setter is, they're outgoing and they're charismatic, and you inspire everyone around you, and you can sell the idea of it, and you can speak the beauty of it all, and you have all this enthusiasm. But while you're doing all of that, the details will sometimes just like overwhelm you. And anyone who's currently owns rental properties, and if they're managing them on their own, or have managed them on their own in the past, they know there's things that are so annoying about dealing with rental properties, and it's so easy to kick that can. I call it just like kicking the can to Friday. Anything that's on your to-do list you don't want to do, and you don't really want to do, you keep moving it down the road. Awful practice. My husband always says, if you don't want to do it today, you're definitely not going to do it tomorrow. I wish now I should give that advice back to him. That was like 10 years ago. But regardless, that is where we're going to go with this ambitious goal setter who has these beautiful visions of what life is going to be like, right? And what life is like. You're a dreamer who dreams big. I love that about people. I am such a realist. So I love dreamers who can dream big and really see into what that's going to look like. You're high empathy. So that's awesome. You can feel people's energy, but then the downside of that is you can also feel negativity, and you're going to carry a lot of that with you. And then, no goal is too big for you, but you don't necessarily know the steps it's going to take to get there. And that's okay, right? That's what we're here for. Sometimes your enthusiasm can turn and feel like pressure on people. So we want to make sure that we're using that empathy that we have to ensure that we're feeling that. If our enthusiasm is causing pressure, I know I'm guilty of this. I feel so passionate about people getting into the real estate world, even if it's just with their primary home, like starting with whatever it is. And when they say, I'm just going to sign another lease, I just need another year, I'm like, oh God, like it just like makes it causes pain to my organs, because I'm like, oh God, it's just going to be that much more expensive or that much harder or whatever it is. So I am so passionate about just getting your first piece of the pie, and that can look like different things. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Another opportunity for our goal setters is to stay organized and focused. You may see shiny squirrels of like, oh, my friend just got a place in on the coast of Italy, and I saw a Facebook ad that said I could do it for $25. So I'm going to go pursue that. And then it's like, oh shoot, they just got a place in Vail. I like my place in Breck, but I kind of want Vail. So I'm going to go do that. Right. So you can have a little bit of that shiny squirrel syndrome, which is challenging. Or maybe your friend got a 4-plex and you only have a 3-plex, right? And you're like, oh shoot, I should have done that. So just dealing with kind of what that shiny squirrel, what it does to us. Right. The shiny squirrel is like, people who follow squirrels plus the shiny object syndrome, it's the combination. So the squirrel's actually shiny, running around and distracting you. And to kind of take your dreams and how do we focus those back into reality? And I don't want to kill your dreams because I love dreamers and they inspire me all the time. So the ambitious goal setter, and this is again like an extreme, right? Is they're going to buy a home where they want their home base to be. They're going to take advantage of some primary home rates. And then they're going to either rent out the home on Airbnb when they travel, or they're going to house hack it and they're going to rent it to roommates. And then boom, you have someone taking care of your house while you're gone and you have a little place to stay. And then you can get a bunch of second homes. They just need to be 60 miles away from you. And so, if you're going over here, I just always am like, just get on the Amalfi Coast. I've been there once. I feel like I need a house there. I'm kidding. To me, as a realist, I'm like, that sounds so logistically like a nightmare, but I want to have enough homes around me so that I can go to the Amalfi Coast when I want to go, right? Maybe you get you need your condo in Puerto Vallarta because you want to make sure you can skip down to Mexico when you want. And then of course, don't forget the condo in Hawaii, those Airbnb really, really well. And then of course, Lake Michigan, and you need something in the mountain towns, but that way you just have to deal with the logistics of bopping around to all these different houses because you can work from anywhere, right? Maybe you do, marketing or whatever it is, you can work from anywhere and you're just bopping around all your homes and then they're paying for your lifestyle and growing and appreciating while other people are living in them and taking care of them. In this case, I would highly advise that you have a great property management company in each of these locations. So that is an extreme of what an ambitious goal setter is going to look like when it comes to her real estate investing. Okay, enthusiastic team player. This is where I ended up falling. And I think because of things like this, my passion is really helping others do it. As much as it is achieving on my own, I prefer to be teaching it and showing others how to do it. So you're a great listener, you're compassionate, you also have the high empathy piece. And you can see all sides of the investment strategy and the pros and cons, and you can like overthink that to death, right? And you love helping other people, so you worry about what kind of advice you're giving and all that. You always will attract people who want to work with you. You probably aren't great with boundaries, so good luck with that. You seek to empower others, and you do have that consistent follow through, and you're going to create those systems because you can impact more people when you do that. Where you're going to struggle is, like I said, boundaries. You have codependency, so you don't know if you're doing a good job unless someone tells you you're doing a good job. And so because of that, you probably do more than you need to a lot. So that's something you're going to want to make sure that you're, keeping aligned. This is all therapy, right? Imposter syndrome, you spelled it wrong. So that's embarrassing for everyone. And you're not going to love that. But you're afraid of having that imposter syndrome. Do I really know enough? Am I going to be, do I deserve, right? So as a team player, you think about all the other people and you're like, why me versus all these other people? So yeah, just being super intentional with your time. And all of these come back to kind of knowing your goals, right? How much money a month are you making with your real estate investments that are going to allow you to live the life you want to live? And again, taking that abundance mindset, like I'm not Jeff Bezos. I don't need all the money to do what with, right? To be buried in, like, that's so weird to me. What I need is enough for me to live my life so I can continue to do what I want to do with my time. And that's what financial freedom looks like, in my opinion. And that's what we really coach towards. So an enthusiastic team player is going to do, maybe not always make the best decisions when it comes, they're not the investigator, right? But they're going to end up in a good place. So they're going to have their home, right? And then they're going to, and this one was an easy slide for me to make because this is what we're transitioning to, but they have their vacation home because that's where they're going to be able to make family memories. And every time they talk to anyone, they're like, yes, and we're going to all go up there and stay. Everyone stays for free in this person's mind. Not great investment. They're going to look at opportunities where they can do some kind of socially conscious developing or socially conscious investing, whether it be around Couple of the topics I think of a lot is felon-friendly housing. I mean, we expect people to be able to get back into the community, but we don't have housing options. And then also Section 8 housing, which is still super important in providing safe and, safe and secure housing for everyone. And then also just affordable in the attainable piece. Like, how are we being super intentional with how we develop housing so that everyone has a place to live, and micro units and what that looks like, obviously worldwide is very different than what it looks like in America and Denver specifically. And then maybe we're going to get some more traditional investments over here. And those are going to be what really we hit our baseline of retirement with. I talk a lot about this from a retirement standpoint, because as an entrepreneur, we don't have the traditional, 401k matching and all that jazz. So a lot of this is looking at what you need for retirement, but we love when you have the ability to diversify a little bit. So we take that into account when we're planning for your retirement number. But yeah, that's what the team player is going to look at, is that they're still making decisions that feel conscious of other people, right? And then there's the Live.Laugh.Investigator. And I think you guys already can tell you probably need all 4 of these elements to do real estate investing, right? But it's about which is the most present in your personality type. And if you're like just straight up blank on one of these, make sure you find a friend. That's what we're here for. We are a tribe that are going to help each other, right? So an investigator, obviously it's in the name. They're going to know the details. They're going to analyze the data. This is a very Gen X strong personality type as well, because it's very data driven, thorough research. But the positive is people do respect your opinions, so long as you're confident enough to share them. And so that's going to be that juxtaposition there, is it's like, you have amazing information. Don't second guess yourself. The information doesn't necessarily have to be 1,000% perfect or answer every single question. It's good to share it with others, because and they respect what you know. And you don't have to have all the answers, you know where to find them. A big thing with investigators is you can get into decision fatigue, and perfectionism equals procrastination, which equals paralysis. And then you never move forward on anything because you can't find perfect. And then before you know it, you're 10 years in and you still don't have an investment property and prices have gone up 35%. Is that overwhelming? Sorry. But anyways, we got to make sure what our rules are, so that if something fits in those rules, you're ready to take that action, knowing that 85% perfect is better than waiting for 100%. So the investigator is going to look at this. They're going to go, ooh, this is the smart move. I'm going to buy a triplex. I'm going to live in one. Okay. And then I'm going to rent this one out, and I'm going to go buy another one. And then I'm going to turn it into a rental. And I'm going to go buy another one, because this is the most cost-effective way I'm willing to move. I call this the leapfrog method. Made it up. But I still think it works. This is the most cost-effective way and requires the least amount of cash to build these rentals up. And then boom, I'm going to be in my forever home. That's going to make a lot of sense on paper. And by forever, I mean for a long time. No one's getting married to their houses. So they're for a very long time home. And then they're going to make some investments. They're going to crunch the numbers and they go, you know what? My friend Alicia up in just invested in Fort Wayne, Indiana with a 7% cap rate and only $50,000 down. That makes sense for me, given that I have all this appreciation happening in my home area. I can really counteract it and not worry too much about how much things are going to appreciate in Fort Wayne, but rather know this is a guaranteed $1,000 a month for me as I retire, right? Before it's paid off. And then they're going to make, they're going to run the numbers here too. And they might do some investing in multifamily, and they're going to look at all the options, but they're going to really analyze it. And we have really great tools to help you analyze yourself, but then also partners that help you analyze, especially with short-term rentals and vacation homes. There's companies out there who specialize in it. I highly advise against doing it on your own. A lot of people with the short-term rentals, a lot of people don't take my advice all the time. So don't be ashamed if you don't. Everyone's entitled to opinions and to ignoring other people's. So this is what an investigator is going to do. They're going to have all the spreadsheets to support it. And they're going to have a lot of success in it, so long as we can get them off the block, right? So we just want to make sure that we've got the plan in place and we know the boundaries that are needed to take these steps, the rules, right? If ever in doubt, figure out that Canva allows you to use Giphies and then bring Beyonce into it. I'm obsessed with her in all the things, but she has a lot of incredible female empowerment, women in leadership quotes, and you can read them yourself. But this one always has stood out to me. We need to reshape our own perception of how we view ourselves. We have to step up as women and take the lead. I remember, and I think it was Hillary Clinton who talked about this, when a man has 4 of 10 qualifications, and it's a study that's done, the man will say, all right, I'm a good fit for the job. I got 4 out of 10. I'm feeling good, right? As women, we're more inclined to go, I've got 9 out of 10. I'm still missing the 1, right? We have to, that's not against men. That's against us. We need to have the confidence to take the chances. We need to have the confidence in ourselves. We need to learn how to do hair flips like Beyonce. And that is what we're going to be working towards. Now, I'm sure we all have our opinions about Jay-Z. I won't share mine on video. I would hate for him to get upset. But my favorite quote from their album is that we measure the success by how many people are successful next to you. Here we say you broke if everybody gets broke except for you. So this is that abundance mindset where we want to be creating success and wealth for everyone around us. And that is why you are here and why we're going to continue to do these lunch and learns that you can slip into the middle of your day or watch at a later time to learn about different tools on how you can build wealth and build long-term wealth through real estate. There's some more stats. These are stats we reiterate a lot. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. This was discussing potential paths for a ton of people. Ultimately, 90% of millionaires created their wealth through real estate. And it should say at least part of their wealth through real estate. Don't get me wrong. There are the Bezoses and, you know, Steve Jobs who had some kind, oh yeah. And then what's his name? Microsoft, Bill Gates. That's been awkward, the whole divorce thing. But anyways, they gained a lot of wealth through an amazing idea. Well, that's 0.0001% of people. The likelihood that you're going to have to build your wealth the old fashioned way through long-term planning and long-term execution is much higher. And so I show this stat to say, it's got to be a piece of your puzzle, piece of your pie, right? I think that the great thing is that there are so many options, and I'm not going to go through all these again, but that's the big piece with like, there's not one formula that works for everyone. There are definitely opportunities and consistent ways that we can digest options, but ultimately there are tons of options. If you're just getting started, you could potentially start on the most brilliant path out there, which I think is the buying the multi, living in one. Personally, I think that would be so cool to be able to buy a duplex, live in it for a year, and then move. And so then you've already got 2 rentals, or maybe it's a quad, whatever it is, but you can set yourself up with multiple rental properties by just putting that 5% down, even FHA at 3.5. Or buying a home and renting out rooms. We see this a lot on college campuses. And this is actually the most common way that, and this is me assuming this, but a lot of young men, if they're buying single, and I know personally, they'll have their roommates pay their mortgage. And a lot of women, we don't really want to deal with that mess. So it's just different. But I feel like this is doing that without having to clean up other people's stuff or share bathrooms. For some people, it makes sense to be investing in an investment home while renting. And, I see those questions like, am I an idiot for renting? But having investments, no. What are your goals? And if the renting allows you to have the location you want, but you still at least have the investment so that you're able to benefit from the appreciation and the tax benefits of owning, then you're in a good spot. And then once you have rental properties, you have options with that too, depending upon, what your path looks like. Second homes are a huge opportunity. You get the same rates as with a primary loan, and you can bring 10% down. So that's a huge opportunity for you to build, to add to your portfolio as well. Now we'll sum it up with, because life is about living for today while planning for tomorrow, but we still have to be living for today. And that is why we will keep this under 30 minutes, which I actually did. Shocking. And I'll be ready for any questions if you have it. No one. Oh, got one. No questions, but this was great. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you were able to hop on. Yeah, for sure. We're going to keep talking about these different categories as a way for you to identify what's easiest, how it's easiest for you to kind of figure out your path. We'll be in touch. We'll follow up with this video as well as some additional information after the class. And we will look forward to setting a time with you to chat and really talk about what your goals are and help you navigate that path. As I mentioned, we're in Denver. I have agents nationwide that I'm in coaching with that also share the same perspective of client first. And so whether you're looking to invest or buy in or sell in Denver Metro or anywhere, we're always here to help you. Our goal is just to make sure that we're minimizing your stress and maximizing your investments. So we'll look forward to staying in touch, and we'll be in touch soon.